わね。想像以上にびっくりしましたわ。もっと子供だと思っていたんですけれど。
Yo, 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 it's your man MAS. I'm back with more jobless reincarnation videos. Yes, it's back, all right? It's back and it's better than ever, all right? And this time around, we're talking about, I touched on this topic before, but rudus not trying to go back to the real world, all right? So all my Isekai fanboys and Isekai fangirls, I know you're probably going to be disappointed, but I'm not a fan of the Isekai genre. Right, and the Isekai genre, like I will say, out of all the Isekais, Jobless is probably top tier. Like it is up there. To me, the best Isekai is ReZero, right? But that's to me. But all because ReZero is the best doesn't mean that Jobless. If somebody said Jobless is better than ReZero, I couldn't debate that. Jobless is really good storytelling. He does a really good job storytelling. People talking about Foreign, but Jobless does a really good job storytelling. That being said, still an Isekai. So because of Isekai, no matter by default, it can't be no more anime. No, right? And the reason why is because of this same very dilemma. But that's why I gotta give Jobless credit. They actually touch on the realities. Like, yo, he is a fat ass. Like he's a loser in real life. Real life loser, right? Gets into this Isekai. That's what they do in Isekais. Whole new person. Whole new personality, got 8-pack abs, gets all the girls, has all your stats to 1,000, right? No flaws, right? What person in that position wants to go back to the real world, all right? The only person that wants to do that is Nanahoshi, right? The girl with the mask that's trying to get back to the world. She's the only person I've ever seen in the Isekai want to go home to the real world. And guess what? She probably wants to do that because her life doesn't suck. All right. But my whole thing is Rudus isn't trying to go back to the real world. And that, my friend, is unrealistic. It's unrealistic because despite how much growth he's made as a person in this pretend world, it's still nothing more than a pretend world. Like he doesn't actually come from this world. Why can't he just take the things that he's gaining from this world and bring it back to the real world? Why he doesn't want to do that? Because like a lot of people are, I won't say like lazy, but like just doesn't want to put in that effort. Like he could, like, let's say he goes back to the real world, he gets a job, he actually makes friends, and loses weight. He might actually get a girl like Sophie in the real world, or Eris, but then again, maybe he won't. And that's the dilemma. It's like, yo, would he actually be able to get these women do the things that he's doing in the real world versus this world? Chances are no, because magic doesn't exist in the real world, or you want to call technology magic. But so like that by default already, he wouldn't be able to, which is what probably makes the world that he's in now more appealing, right? So Nanahoshi is trying to get back to the real world. I commend her determination to try to find ways to get back to that place, right? Because she has a whole family and friends and people that she actually looks forward to. It's very evident that Rudus doesn't have that. He's not really striving to go back to the real world. He is curious to know how his brother's doing. That in that one episode that his brother tried to pull him out of the room, but it's very evident that Rudus has no intention of going back to the real world, right? And to me, it's just, it's unfortunate. It's just a dangerous place to be in as a person, because it's almost like willingly living in delusion, right? And then maybe the books talk about it more into the future. But again, have I said a million times, we do not read on this channel. This is strictly the anime. So get your books out of here, all right? Strictly the anime. Anime, he ain't trying to go back to the real world. And I don't think it's the best situation for him, but like, can I blame him? He's living a life in this world. Like everybody at the school is on him, like to the 10th degree. Like Rudus is the man, Rudus is good at magic, Rudus is amazing, Rudus has pretty hair, he's a gray rat. Like everybody is on his what. Like who would want to go back to the real world after getting all that admiration in this pretend world, right? And he has a whole wife and kid in this world, where that his real world, he doesn't have any of that, right? So the conversation is like, hey, like he would, or I feel like he would be able to obtain that in the real world if he actually put some effort in, like take what he learns in this world and take it to the real world. But because of the illusion of like how good this world is, almost like, I won't say drugs, but like, yeah, like something feels so good that like you don't want to let it go. So, and you could tell like the anime initially I felt was about nothing, and then it became about something because he wanted to find his family members. But after the teleportation incident, if that never happened, I feel pretty confident Rudus would have just been content, like living his life like that, like have no intention of going back to the real world. I'm very positive that would probably happen. So let's say, you know, she uncovers Nanahoshi, she discovers a full-fledged way of teleporting them back to the real world. Would Rudus take it? I am curious to know. I will hope that he would, but I feel confident he's not. And that's just the curse of Isekais, you know? I would like if they did like a Inuyasha type of thing where he's able to teleport between the real world and this world. You know, in Inuyasha they had the well, and you know they were able to kind of teleport between both realms. I feel like they could do that, you know. But it would be crazy if the women in Jobless, right? So Sylphy, Ares, Roxy, if they were teleported to the real world and saw the real Rudus, Rudy, would they still be messing with him? I'm telling you they're not. I am telling you they're not. All right. He can get away with 3 wives in this anime, like in the world that he's in. But in the real world, the way he was, I don't think he's getting away with that. He's not getting away with that. And that's the reason he's not trying to go back to the real world, right? But I do feel like he should be concerned about the things that he did have in the real world. So if he did have family, which it seems like he did, if he did have any friends, maybe, yeah, I don't think he had. So cancel that. Family, right? Like, you know how much time has probably passed? Like, are you not curious about your mom, or you're not curious about your dad? I guess it doesn't hurt if they weren't, you know, ancient people too. There's like, yeah, I don't want to check on them, but you know, that's still family. I feel like since he's been in this world, he's had no regards for like what's happening in his family life in the real world. And maybe that's a testament to like why Paul got so angry. Paul got angry, comes just like, yo, like, how about Rudus' reaction to like seeing his mom like that? I'm not sure if him as a character is just like that in general, but they explained it like Rudus has no connection to Zenith like that. Like, yeah, like she birthed him in the pretend world, but as far as he was concerned, which makes sense, like she's nothing more than like a stranger that he knew, and explained in an episode. But then my argument is, well, what about your real mom in the real world? Would you not feel that same way if it was actually your real mom? So maybe him as a character is just like a little bit detached. So that is a possibility. It is a possibility. But no, I was gonna say, contrary to how Paul came off, I thought he was a pretty good father, minus the cheating. But yeah, I'm not sure if his actual father figure in the real world was that, you know, like heartwarming and welcoming. So it just seems like there's a plethora of reasons why he wouldn't go back. And I feel like him not going back to the real world is a detriment to the growth that he's currently made. Like Rudus has made so much growth currently that like, I feel like that's just the next step of his maturity. Like once he saves Zenith, like I will give him this. He shouldn't leave until he kind of gets all his priorities in order in the pretend world. So like save the people who need to save. You know, maybe wait for your child to be born, your pretend child to be born, your pretend child. And once all that is settled, then, you know, just check in on stuff in the real world. You don't know. Maybe by the time he goes back to the real world, it's an apocalypse, you know, and he'll be kind of upset at himself like, yo, like, you weren't here for this. You get me? Like, so that's just my thing. He's made so much maturity. I feel like the next step in his maturity is to check on the people in the real life to make sure they're good, and to try to take some of those life lessons and better himself in the real world. If it's a situation where if he goes to the real world and he can't go back to the pretend world, then yeah, I can see that being a dilemma, because if I were in his shoes, that'll be really appealing too. Like this world is pretty neat. So you telling me if I go back, I can't come back. So if I go to the real world, I can't come back here. So yeah, but I feel like the way Nanahoshi is kind of setting it up, I feel like you'll be able to teleport back and forth. You get me? Like, I feel like that's how the teleportation circles work in the labyrinth. So I feel like the way she's trying to work it now, you should be able to go back and forth between the real world and the pretend world. So I mean, I just feel like if the option was made available to him, he's not gonna do it. Let's be real, right? But yeah, he's not trying to go back to the real world. That's the title of the video. He's the loser in the real world, and he likes the pretend world. But that's the majority of people. So go figure. But yeah, man, that's the video. Again, my name is MAS, stands for My Annoying Senpai. Definitely like, comment, subscribe if you love my anime reviews, and I'm out.